family, always haughty, he has reviled other men. He has retained the language he formerly used, but his heart is free of scorn. Single quote. Thus, although they have destroyed the fetters, the arhats still keep the traces. But the Buddha Bhagavats, whether their arms are slashed with a knife or whether they are anointed with sandalwood oil, do not blink an eye, and their heart is as free of hatred as it is of love, for they have definitively effaced all traces of the passions. The brahmani tchö with her wooden disc slandered the Buddha, and in the midst of the great assembly said to him, "You have made me pregnant. Why do you pitilessly refuse me clothing and food?" She did this shamelessly to deceive the others. The 500 Brahmin masters at once raised their hands and shouted, "That is true, we know this affair." The Buddha did not change color at this event and did not redden with shame. When this trick was discovered, the earth trembled and the devas honored the Buddha by overwhelming him with praise and with flowers. But when the devas glorified the Buddha's qualities, he did not take on the appearance of joy. When the Buddha ate oats, he expressed no anger, but when the king of the gods offered him food of 100 flavors as compensation, he felt no joy. The Buddha is single-minded, without duality. In all things, whatever they may be, food and drink, robes and clothing, beds and seats, praise and blame, mistrust and respect, the Buddha's mind remains indifferent. It is like pure gold which, even when burned, melted, beaten or polished, shows no increase or decrease. On the contrary, the arhats, although they have broken the bonds and have found the path, still retain the traces of the passions. This is why they cannot be called Bhagavat. Question. Bhagavat is one name, but the Buddha has other epithets. Answer. Since the qualities of the Buddha are innumerable, his epithets also are innumerable. These epithets include all his glory, for people understand it in many ways. The Buddha possesses still other names. He is called Tathagata, etc. Tathagata. Why is he called Tato Akayato, Tathagata? Question mark. 1. He preaches the natures of the Dharmas in the way that he has understood them. 2. In the way that the previous Buddhas have gone by the path of safety, thus the actual Buddha is going and will not go on to new existences. Arhat. The Buddha is also called a loho arhat. Why is he called arhat? 1. Ara means enemy and hat means to kill. The expression therefore means killer of enemies. Some stanzas say, the Buddha has patience as his armor, energy as his helmet, discipline as his great steed, dhyana as his bow, wisdom as his arrows. Outwardly, he destroys the army of Mara. Inwardly, he destroys the passions, his enemies. He is called Arhat. 2. Furthermore, a mark's negation and rahat means to be born. The expression means, therefore, unborn. The seeds of the mind of the Buddha do not arise in the field of rebirths, for ignorance in him has been dissolved. 3. Finally, Arhat means worthy of receiving worship. The fetters have been cut in the Buddha, he has attained omniscience, therefore he merits receiving the worship of beings in heaven and on earth. This is why the Buddha is called Arhat. Samyaksambuddha. He is also called San Miao San Photo, Samyaksambuddha. Why? 1. Samyak means perfectly, Sam means fully, and Bud means understanding. The expression thus means, he who understands all dharmas perfectly and completely. Question. How does he understand perfectly and fully? Answer. He understands suffering as suffering, he understands the origin as origin. He understands cessation as cessation, he understands the path as the path. Therefore he is called Samyaksambuddha. 2. Furthermore, he knows that all the dharmas are truly unchangeable, without increase or decrease. Why are they unchangeable? When the functioning of the mind is stopped and destroyed, when the path of speech is cut, he understands that dharmas are motionless, like nirvana itself. This is why he is called Samyaksambuddha. 3. Finally, the languages of all the universes. The 10 directions. The languages of beings in the 6 destinies. The history of previous lives of beings and their birthplaces in future generations, the natures of the mind of all beings in the 10 directions, their fetters, their roots of good, and their outcome. All the dharmas of this kind he knows in detail. This is why he is called Samyaksambuddha. Vidyakarana Sampanna. He is also called Pai Che Cholo Na Sanpan Na Vidyakarana Sampanna, i.e., endowed with knowledges and practices. Why is he called thus? The 3 knowledges are: 1. The memory of former existences, 2. The divine I, 3. The destruction of the impurities. Question: what difference is there between the superknowledges and the knowledges? Answer: the abhena knows the previous past existences, the vidya knows the past actions that are the cause. The abhena knows that such and such a being will die here and be reborn there. The vidya recognizes in these deaths and rebirths the unfailing result of the actions that are its cause. The abhena knows that such and such a being has destroyed the fetters, but does not know if he will be reborn again or will never be reborn again. The vidya knows that once the impurities have been destroyed, one is no longer reborn. These 3 vidyas are not the prerogative exclusively of the Buddha, they are also attained by the great Arhats and the great Pratyeka Buddhas. Question: if that is so, how are they different from the Buddhas? Answer: although they have these 3 vidyas, their knowledge is not complete. In the Buddhas, the knowledge is complete. That is the difference. Question: what is incomplete knowledge? What is complete knowledge? Anwa. By means of their knowledge of previous existences, the Arhats and Pratyeka Buddhas know themselves and know others in an incomplete way only. Some Arhats remember 1, 2 or 3 generations, 10, 100, 1,000 or 10,000 kalpas, even 80,000 kalpas, but beyond that, their memory stops and they know no more. This is why they do not have the complete knowledge of the divine I. Their knowledge of future generations likewise is imperfect. On the other hand, the Buddha knows the time of arising, duration and cessation contained in a single moment.